Hey guys, welcome to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So today we're back with a Caitlyn updated complete guide, of course with the latest patch. And of course, as usual, don't forget to take a look at Caitlyn's basic guide that I will link up in the cards above for her skills, leveling order tips and tricks, as well as combos. So without further ado, let's jump straight into it. Firstly, let's talk about her build. Caitlyn is probably the only only ADC in the game that I think that you should always start with Stormraiser, because Stormraiser is incredibly good on Caitlyn. Caitlyn has a very strong early game, and with the Stormraiser you are able to of course get that additional like damage and slow in the earlier stages of the game to of course help you snowball and help you get more kills, help you increase your early game damage. You can go for other items first, like shield bow for example, if you're into like a heavy assassin team, but really I feel that when I play Caitlyn, if I don't go for Stormraiser, I'm losing out on so much early game power. So for me personally, I always go for Stormraiser as my first item on Caitlyn. So of course, as with other champions, the main change of course after patch 4.3 of course is the addition of the Berserker's Greaves. So the Berserker's Greaves of course gives you 30% attack speed in addition to 15 AD, and combined together with the attack speed from Lethal Tempo, this is pretty much going to be enough attack speed to sustain yourself throughout the game. So this allows you to not have to build Phantom Dancer, which in my opinion is a very good item, but it of course gives you very little AD, it just gives you a lot of attack speed. So this allows you to, after Berserker's Greaves, go into getting an Infinity Edge, which is going to allow you to have that AD and crit damage spike a lot more earlier, which is of course going to help you kind of cover up the weaknesses of your weak mid game somewhat, at least better than the other build. So of course for the enchant you generally go for Stasis, you can go for like QSS if you need to as well. And then afterwards I like to go for Bloodthirster, again more AD, physical vamp, and of course the Bloodstorm passive. We go for the Moral Reminder for the armor pen as well as the Grievous Wounds. And finally we top it off with a shield bow as our last item to of course get that lifeline passive. Now alternatively, you could actually go for a LDR instead of going for Moral Reminder, like as your third item, and then go for like let's say Bloodthirster or Immoral Shield Bow as your fourth item. And as your last item, you could also, of course, go for something like a GA over here. And you also, you can just basically itemize into what kind of items that you like personally. Of course, your last item slot is flexible if you choose to go for LDR, but nowadays, most of the time, there's a lot of healing in the game, especially with the addition of Gluttonous Greaves, or rather not addition, but with the buff to Gluttonous Greaves, with the addition of Legend Bloodline, a lot of healing in the game, so generally anti-heal is good in most games. So, for our runes, we're gonna go for, of course, as I mentioned, Lethal Tempo for the attack speed, since we're playing such a AD heavy and attack speed light build. Of course, we're gonna go for Brutal for the extra damage on our auto attacks. Coup de Grace against low HP enemies. Of course, Giant Slayer is good here as well. And the last one is a choice between Bloodline as well as Alacrity. Of course, this is kind of a bit of your own personal preference, but honestly, for me, I feel that getting attack speed from Stormraiser, Berserker's Greaves, and Lethal Tempo is enough, and I don't really need Legend Alacrity, but you could of course go for that. So I like taking Legend Bloodline, of course, for the extra Omni Vamp. And then, of course, we go for Bone Plating for the additional defensive capabilities. And for the spells, you can go for Exhaust and Flash if there are assassins, because Caitlyn does have a dash on her E, but really difficult to escape when assassins get on top of you, really difficult to outplay as well. So you can go for Exhaust if you need that. Otherwise, in most general matchups, you can go for Ghost, which is going to help you, of course, run around and chase people down and kite in and out of fights. But with all that said, let's jump into our gameplay. Okay, so on to the gameplay. Of course, as usual, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Any questions, queries, or remarks, feel free to leave them in the comments below. So we're going to instantly start talking about Caitlyn. Now, Caitlyn, what kind of support does she like? Well, it doesn't really matter. Caitlyn works well with both enchanters as well as engagers, but generally you want someone who can, of course, compete in early game, someone aggressive. So if you're playing with like engagers, you want, of course, champions like Leona, Nautilus, Alistair who wants to go in, which is generally almost all of them. And enchanters, you generally prefer to play with people more aggressive, people like Nami, even Soraka, because you can trade and Soraka can heal you back up. And you generally have the best Caitlyn games into enemy teams where there's very little chance for assassination. So Technically this is not an amazing Caitlyn game because there is like an Echo who can assassinate me. Tristana technically can assassinate me as well. And I can technically also get ulted by Warwick or one-shot by Lux, but you know, you're never gonna find that perfect game to pick a champion, so you can never really like kind of meet all the criteria. They do pop up from time to time, like let's say you want to play Samira and you find a game with no CC at all on the enemy team. They do happen, but come on, how often does that happen? Anyways, here you guys can see we have a very good trade against the Senna here. Tristana tries to trade back onto Nami, but because of my exhaust, I managed to save the Nami's life and pick up a double. Here Nami's trying to recall under tower, and Echo tries to jump in. I spot that happening. I'm going to turn around and just pick up a free triple. Of course, Echo did tank a tower shot there and he wasn't at full health. So out of nowhere, at minute 1, literally, we pick up a triple kill, which is pretty much GG for the enemy team. If you guys take a look at the situation now, I'm at basically 2.5k gold. Senna and Tristana are both at only 1k gold, so I literally now have like the ADC and support gold combined. So now what do we want to do? Of course, we've gotten our item components, we've bought. We can see that Senna and Tristana still only have their starting items. Tristana has a pair of boots, but you know, no combat stats on the pair of boots. So now with this huge lead, which of course these kind of games do happen from time to time where you get a huge lead very early in the game, you want to abuse and destroy the enemy laners, especially as a Caitlyn. Caitlyn is already one of the most oppressive champions to lane against, even if she doesn't have a kill. And when you have like a kill or a couple in this case, you should be able to completely abuse and destroy their lane. You can see here I have red buff, so here I'm just pushing in, and here I'm trying to just land attacks on them. You can see here I got 2 auto attacks on Tristana. That's like half her health already. If Nami lands that bubble, could even possibly have been a kill. Here again I'm harassing with my Q, just attacking, auto attacking the Senna, and of course picking up the minions in between. So here I have my hit shot ready, and at this point I actually have my Storm Razor completed, which is a very huge power spike. So instead of continuing to harass them under tower, I'm actually going to take advantage of the fact that I have the wave pushed in, and this gives me the opportunity to pick up my Storm Razor, which is going to be huge in terms of my of course early game power. So here Tristana and Senna actually make a mistake here. You see that what they're doing here is they pushed in the wave. They should have recalled to get items, but they're greeting for tower plates, which they do manage to get one of. And if this Senna root doesn't actually hit me off of the Nami, I think I literally just run them down and kill one or both of them. Of course, with the Tristana ult, that may not be the case, but they're gonna definitely have to blow some sums to like get out. Because here with the Storm Razor, we're gonna do a lot of damage. Here we're gonna try to see the headshot damage. Unfortunately, no one's in range, so we're gonna have to hit the minion instead. Here we're once again just trying to land auto attacks and harass. Here Echo actually comes in. We're actually gonna just step out. You can see how much damage we do. We nearly killed Echo before he even had a chance to ult. So we're gonna exhaust Tristana. We flash forward. Unfortunately, because Senna has the mist, we can't actually finish off the kills, which is really unfortunate. All of them are 1 HP. I managed to get the ult onto Echo for the kill. Here double lands onto Senna. Unfortunately, I'm barely out of range to kill the Senna, so could have been another triple kill honestly, but we got a little bit unlucky here, and because of that we don't actually get the kills, I guess you could say. So here we pick up a tower plate and we pick up another one, but we don't want to make the same mistake as them and overstay, because at this point they would have back. They're walking their way back to lane. You can see Tristana just reached lane, but here I'm going to recall and I'm going to pick up my Berserker's Grease, which at this point is a very huge spike as well, because I already am 4-0. So with that extra attack speed, I'm going to be able to get out a lot more auto attacks, and of course you know, kind of try to destroy them. And here I actually managed to pick up the red buff again. So because we killed the Echo again, we actually steal his red buff once again. So here again we have red buff in the lane to get even more damage down onto the enemy laners. So here just checking if Tristana's in the bush. Turns out she is not. There she is. She puts her bomb onto the minion. And here I'm just trying to attack the minions, push the wave in, at the same time land attacks on them. Here Tristana gets caught by a bubble, and this pretty much means she should be dead. Unfortunately, she's able to jump out. Senna actually blocks the auto. And here we land another huge Q onto the Senna. Senna uses her ult for the shield. Here as you can see, we're just auto-attacking Tristana down, and we just pick up the kill even though she's under tower. So you can see like Caitlyn's range plus the fact that we're fed is like, this is how you play Caitlyn. Super aggressive, and this is how Caitlyn is meant to be played. Of course, if you're like feeding, you can't play like that, but if you're even or ahead, you always want to play extremely oppressive against the enemy team. And off of that, Senna is going to have to run away. We pick up the first tower, pretty much instantly. And my team, in the meanwhile, has actually picked up the dragon. Unfortunately, they are kind of dying now, and enemy team is rotating to the Rift Herald. So here, I'm actually going to go back to the lane, because the reason I'm going back to lane and not helping my team with the Rift Herald is because we are only 6 minutes into the game. If I leave Tristana alone and I help my team out with the Rift Herald, Tristana is going to get a lot of tower plates because she has the E available, and she can take tower plates really quickly. So I don't want that to happen, so I'm going to quickly go back and push out the minion waves first, and then I can rotate down. Now unfortunately, the Herald has already been taken by the Echo, and Shen already dies. So here we can see Tristana is back there, so we are going to have a numbers advantage if we do manage to reach the fight. Here mid lane's pushing in, but I'm going to ignore it for the most part. Here I'm trying to ult the low HP Echo. Unfortunately, Echo survives on 1 HP, which is again really unlucky. Here I'm going to pop the flash, kill the Echo, and go for the Lux. Lux is actually very fed. She's 3-0 at the moment, so getting a shutdown her would be really ideal. I charge up my headshot on the ward, and I am able to pick up the kill onto the Lux and get 500 gold from that. Here Warwick ults me, but you can see it does basically no damage at this point. He terrifies me as well. Once again, basically no damage. Shen ult comes in, and I'm walking forward to give Shen a good angle to taunt if he wants to taunt under tower, which he does not. Here using the absurd amount of Caitlyn damage, I also have a BF sword at this point. We're just going to quickly just burst down this tower, and here Warwick gets caught again. Unfortunately, we don't manage to finish him off. Echo has just respawned. He doesn't even have ult at this point, so now he does, but he did not just now. So here, unfortunately, boom, we get one shot by the Lux, and that is sort of the problem with Caitlyn. You can be super duper fed like me, 7-1 at this point, but if you just get one shot by an assassin, there's nothing you can do. In this case, the real threat here is actually the Lux, because as you guys can see, it's a first strike Lux, and first strike Lux, if you get hit by her root, you basically instantly die, because the root plus of course the ER combo is going to one-shot a squishy target like Caitlyn 100-0. Of course, regardless of whether I'm 10-0 or 0-10, I'm just as squishy, because obviously Caitlyn does not build any health or any defenses, so I'm just going to get one shot by the Lux. Furthermore, Lux is really fed. Warwick at this point, you can see, is completely no threat. Even when I get ulted by him, he does no damage. The only issue is if he ults me near the Lux, and Lux is able to get a full combo on me for free, that would be an issue. Echo is super duper behind at this point, and if he tries to go in on me, I basically kill him before he even reaches me, so he's not too big of a problem as well. And obviously Tristana and Senna have been getting stomped by us, so really, as I mentioned, the problem is really only the Lux. So the whole rest of the game, the main question in my mind now becomes, where is the Lux? So I never really want to step up near like bushes that aren't warded and these kind of things, as Lux could be in there, I could get one shot, and me getting one shot is really bad, because as you guys can see, in my team, if you take stock of the situation, my whole team isn't really doing very well. So we have a 1-2 Draven, a 1-2 Shen, and a 1-3 Veigar. All of them aren't doing very well. Take a look at their goal situation. 5k goal for Veigar, 5k goal for Shen, which is less goal than Nami, by the way, and 7k goal for Warwick, who isn't doing too bad in terms of for Draven, who isn't doing too bad in the grand scheme of things. But I have nearly 10k goal, so almost all of my team's goal is on me. So because of that, I can't afford to just die and get one shot. If not, my team is going to be in trouble. Here I'm gonna pick up the stasis, which is gonna allow me to stasis if Lux hits the root onto me to prevent me from getting one shot by her combo. So here I'm actually picking up the Executioner's Calling, because there's a lot of healing on the team, healing from Senna, healing from Shilbo, healing from Echo's ulti, healing from Warwick Q, Warwick ult, and just a lot of healing in general. So Executioner's Calling is a very good buy against this particular team. So next dragon is coming up. Echo is on the wrong side of the map completely, so unless Lux ults and steals the dragon, this looks like it's going to be a relatively free dragon. Here Warwick tries to go in, gets interrupted by the ult from the Nami, and we're just going to auto him down for a free kill. Now we have no idea who's really on the other side. I mean, we know Lux is there, but we don't want to just hop over and just run into a root and get one shot. So here we're going to play a little bit more conservative. You can see that just one E does like about a quarter of my health already, so the Lux is doing insane amounts of damage at this stage of the game, so we have to be really careful of the Lux. So here you can see we're trying to run down the Senna, but unfortunately we get hit by Lux. Now here we could have actually stasis the ult, but the issue was that we were in our own ult animation onto the Senna, so because we're caught in our ult animation, we are unable to actually pop the stasis. So we again get one shot by Lux, but basically we brought this on ourselves. We rooted ourselves because of the ultimate, so kind of a big misplay there from me trying to get the kill onto Senna. So again we end up getting killed by the Lux, which is really bad. So from this point on, I'm gonna really of course really try to take note of where Lux is and really avoid getting one shot. Honestly, it's more worth for me to prevent myself from dying and not get the kill on Senna than get the kill on Senna and die. Of course, the worst case scenario happened, which is I don't get any kill at all and I die anyway. But honestly, Senna's life is worth way less than mine at this point in the game, so we don't want to die for killing anyone. Honestly, maybe the only person who's worth killing on the enemy team is maybe the Lux. So if we trade 1-for-1 with the Lux, might be worth it because of how fed she is. And honestly, at this point, Tristana has caught up in terms of farm as well, but she doesn't seem to pose too much of a threat at the moment as of yet. She can't one-shot us as of yet, especially because we have exhaust, and if she jumps in and tries to put the bomb on us, we can just exhaust her, and we likely won't get one-shot by her. However, once again, Lux is still the biggest problem, can one-shot us from a distance, and we don't really want to deal with that. So here, now we know Lux is over there, somewhere over on the right side of the map, and we know that this bush is warded as well, the bush that Nami just walked out of, because she wouldn't have thrown all her spells in there randomly if it wasn't warded. So here we're just gonna stay mid lane, just gonna clear out the lane, and honestly, not too much interesting is gonna happen at this point. What's happening here is we're basically just waiting to go for objectives or waiting to get a pick onto the Lux. Now here, Shen actually pings from the dragon, which I actually Baron, sorry, which I actually think is a really good thing to do, because number one, Veigar is pushing in top, which is a huge distraction to the enemy team, and number two, we're actually in terms of total team goal, we're not very far ahead, but I as an individual am very far ahead. So if they try to walk into the Baron pit, you know, they're gonna have a lot of trouble with Caitlyn range and Caitlyn damage. I'm gonna set up the line of traps at the entrance as well, and one more in this bush, because everybody loves to step into that bush. So real high chance of someone just stepping in there and, you know, just getting caught. So here Lux kills Draven, and Lux is actually really low. So here I'm a little bit ambitious, but as I kite away the skull, I'm actually trying to see if Lux is still under the tower recalling, might be able to get off an ult and kill her, but unfortunately, of course, she is not. However, we are gonna actually be able to use the Baron buff and try to push in. In the meanwhile, Veigar has already been caught out and died. Draven, as we know, died to the Lux. And you can see Tristana and Warwick are actually pushing in on the top lane towards our inhibitor. Now here we have Baron buff, so we in theory do push faster. Here you can see I dodged the Lux route, but I still get hit by Lux and Senna ultis. I am relatively, not relatively out there, I'm still half health. I get, unfortunately, ulted by Warwick. I'm gonna flash to dodge Lux's spells, and I am able to get the kill onto the Lux. Stasis to wait for my cooldowns. Shen ults me, and we are able to finish off the Warwick as well. So pretty well played in the fight overall by me, except from getting hit by the Lux ult, which I could have dodged if I played a little bit better, but overall it still works out. Here you can see Tristana for some reason tries to walk up and tries to stop us, but you can see here, this is basically what she gets for her efforts. She just gets 100 to 0 by me because, as we all know, a fed Caitlyn really difficult to fight. And here we're just going to get the inhibitor. And after getting the inhibitor, it's high time to reset. We have a lot of unspent gold, and you can see here we basically buy our entire shield bow. And the reason why we don't go for Bloodthirster and we go for a shield bow instead is, obviously, as I mentioned, at this point the main issue is getting one shot by Lux. So shield bow is going to prevent us from getting one shot by Lux by of course giving us that extra shield, and that's really what we're after at this point in the game. So here, the third dragon, Mountain Dragon, is going to be up, and getting Mountain Dragon plus Triple Dragon is going to be really useful as well, because Mountain Dragon resistances will be really helpful for us to of course avoid getting one shot by Lux. Here I'm trying to help my team to burst down the dragon, which we do. and Echo here gets caught. Shen goes in for the taunt and is able to finish off the kill. And the rest of us are just gonna walk the long way around and either look for some towers or look for some kills. Here I'm going mid to push the mid wave and see if we can go for the mid lane inhibitor. So here I'm just focusing the inhib. Tristana tries to get into auto attack battle with me. Basically the same thing as just now happens, except this time I'm not gonna ult her since she isn't quite low enough to die to my ult. So instead I'm gonna rotate over to the top lane, safe way of course, and try to secure the top lane inhibitor. So at this point, we're gonna secure the top lane inhibitor as well, and basically the game is pretty much won at this point. Triple inhib is down. The base of the enemy team is in shambles, and the base itself is actually pretty low HP. So here at the to add insult to injury, on our way out we're just gonna steal the enemy raptors as well, deny the enemy any kind of farm. And we can see here that the next Baron is actually going to spawn really soon. Here I actually complete my mole reminder because of course the enemy team is gonna get a little bit tanky. Warwick is gonna get a bit tanky, and you know, base armor and such. So we're just gonna get the mole reminder. And here, as I mentioned, pretty much all our team needs to do is go to the Baron, secure the Baron, and you just pick up an easy victory. So I think that this match is a pretty good example of how, like, if you get a lead on Caitlyn, how you make use of that lead and how you pretty much just destroy the enemy team. But at the same time, it's not like a complete stomp. It does look like a complete stomp from our perspective. Here you can see I get hit by Lux, binding my stasis, so I'm still at full health. And off of that, with my biggest like threat gone of the Lux combo, I'm basically able to just walk around and just attack whoever I can. Here you can see we can see Echo here just caught, instantly just one shot him with the help of the Veigar ulti as well. Here I'm just gonna ult the Tristana for the damage, and my team's just gonna finish off the kills. And honestly, at this point, we don't even need Baron. Only Lux is left alive, and we're just gonna go for the end. So you can see, as I was saying, it's not a complete stomp. It does look like that from my perspective, but if you notice, my team actually isn't doing too well for majority of the game, and Lux is of course still you know, a major issue for the entire game. So it's not like completely one-sided, but it does look like that from my perspective. But with that victory, I'm going to leave you guys with the stats as usual. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.